It's 12 o'clock. Take your time, slow down, and arrive safe. A reminder from HendrickCars.com.
Scientists and medical professionals work around the clock to find a vaccine for COVID-19. We'll take a look at how they're speeding things up in the process to help fight the pandemic. Also, their new unemployment claims are out as the nation deals with another week of the pandemic. We'll have the latest from the Department of Labor, and we'll tell you how many Americans are now out of work. Fairgrounds across the state will, of course, look different this year, but we'll head to the Carolina Classic, where you can still win a stuffed animal while munching on some fair favorites. Thanks for joining us on Spectrum News 1. I'm Claudine Chalfant. Before we bring you those top stories, let's get your very latest Weather on the One's forecast for this Thursday afternoon.
It is going to be a spectacular day for this first day of October. It's already a nice morning outside. Here's a view this Thursday from earlier over downtown Raleigh. Get used to that sunny blue sky. Like yesterday, we're going to see sunshine all day long. I think we end up a little bit warmer today than yesterday. Things are clear all around us. That's why we'll stick with that all-day sunshine. And that should already have us to around 73 to 75 degrees from noon to 1 o'clock. That will already be a little bit warmer than we were for our highs yesterday. Our highs today should be in the upper 70s. Say about 3, 4 o'clock, we make it to 78 degrees. We'll start to come back down into the 60s a little after sunset for tonight. Sun all day today, then some clouds stream across the area tonight as our temperatures eventually drop into the mid-50s. It's going to be a little cooler for tomorrow and for the weekend. We'll take a closer look at that forecast in 10 minutes.
New at noon, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department released a body camera video of a controversial death. Harold Easter died in January after police say he experienced a medical emergency while in custody. Right now, let's go live to Spectrum News 1 reporter Katie Solt, who joins us from the newsroom. And Katie, you've been going through all of that video. What have you seen so far?
Well, Claudine, CMPD released several body camera videos starting from Easter's arrest and ending with the ride to the hospital. To recap, this started during a traffic stop when Easter was arrested for possession of cocaine and marijuana. Now, the district attorney says that during the incident, quote, evidence suggests Easter ate a large amount of crack cocaine before he was pulled over and arrested. In one of the videos, you can see Easter in the interrogation room yelling and talking out loud before he experiences that medical episode. In that same video, you can hear Easter say, "I'm going to die," and then he collapses on the table. After he collapses, it's about 10 minutes before you see officers enter the interrogation room, call out seizure, and start rendering aid. He's then taken from the room. About 2 minutes later, receives some more medical attention and is then put in an ambulance and taken to the hospital. Right now, the community is gathering. We want to give you a live look because these are members that are speaking out after the video was released. The 4 officers and 1 sergeant involved in this investigation all resigned ahead of today's media release. So again, we have the community members speaking now, and then we're expected to hear from CMPD this afternoon to take questions about the videos that they've released. And again, those 4 officers and sergeant involved did resign ahead of today's video release. I'm going to have more tonight on Spectrum News 1 starting at 5 o'clock. In the newsroom, Katie Solt, Spectrum News 1.
And the North Carolina Health Department reports more than 210,000 cases of COVID-19 right now. Even though cases in our state are increasing, state health officials and Governor Roy Cooper are moving forward to reopen North Carolina tomorrow. The state is set to move into phase 3. This means we will see movie theaters, bars, amusement parks, and outdoor venues open up at limited capacity. You can see the percentages there on your screen. Phase 3 will be in place until at least October 23rd. Dr. Mandy Cohen says right now we are below our case peak from August. Dr. Cohen also says we're starting to see more cases in the Sandhills and the eastern part of North Carolina. Usually it takes years to create an effective vaccine, but with several vaccine candidates racing toward completion in just about a year, many are questioning if something made so quickly can really be proven to be safe and effective. Let's check in with our Spectrum News 1 national health reporter Erin Billups, who joins me now to explain the unprecedented changes to our country's vaccine approval process. A lot to unpack, Erin.
So much to unpack, and obviously we're just going to be scratching the surface here, but it normally takes about 5 to 20 years to find a vaccine safe and effective. But obviously we need something fast. There is an urgent need for a vaccine with already 205,000 deaths here in the United States. So we decided to take a closer look at what makes this vaccine development process different.
For the coronavirus vaccine, the FDA has created a fast-forward option called Operation Warp Speed, where vaccine candidates are still required to progress through each stage of the development process and meet safety and efficacy benchmarks, relying on two main changes to shorten the timeline. Instead of waiting until phase 3 trials are completed to send the data to the FDA, researchers are sending in results on a rolling basis, allowing FDA officials to approve a vaccine much sooner. Some researchers have even been approved to run phases 1 and 2 trials simultaneously. The other big change is that manufacturing of the most promising vaccine candidates can now begin even before phase 3 trials are done. Normally, the risk of the financial loss if the vaccine ultimately does not receive approval would make this unrealistic. But with additional subsidies available, this change means the vaccine can be distributed to the public almost immediately after approval. Of course, even with this expedited timeline, finding a safe and effective vaccine is still a lengthy process. Unexpected side effects can delay the trials or even take a particular vaccine candidate out of the running altogether. So how will they determine if a vaccine is safe and effective? A diverse phase 3 trial is key. A vaccine that performs well in young people may not be as effective in the elderly. A pre-existing health condition may put someone at risk of a serious complication. If no severe side effects are reported in phase 3, the vaccine is deemed safe. Although even after the vaccine is approved, officials will continue to monitor recipients and record any adverse reactions. In order to be considered effective, the FDA says a vaccine should protect at least 50% of the recipients from infection or severe illness.
Now, because the process is moving so fast, public health experts across the world are calling on pharmaceutical companies and the biotech companies developing these vaccines to offer an unprecedented level of access and transparency to the trial data as it's going on. Just as the FDA is seeing that information as it's being released, so should the public see it. And what they say is scientists could then decipher that and have a conversation with the public about what the risks are so that when it's available, more people might be willing to get vaccinated, Claudine.
And Erin, once a vaccine is available, is the country and the world ready to scale up manufacturing so everybody who needs a vaccine can get one?
Claudine, what we hear is that they're trying. They're trying to get manufacturing up to scale, but there are quite a few logistical hurdles. One being most people will need 2 shots of the vaccines that are in development right now within a month's time frame. So that's a lot to ask of people. The other thing is some of these vaccines need to be frozen at really low temperatures. So they need what's called sub-80 freezers, which are not at every pharmaceutical or doctor's office. They cost a lot of money. You also need trucks that can transport stuff at these very low temperatures. So these are all things being thought about right now that they're trying to plan for. And even some of the vaccine manufacturers are trying to stabilize the vaccine so they don't need those ultra low temperatures to stay viable.
Right, it's still a lot of moving parts. All right, National Health Reporter Erin Billups, thank you for joining us today with this latest info.
Thank you.
The Carolina Classic Fair is underway, but of course it looks differently from years past. Leaders came up with a way to transform some attractions, community service events, and the food to a drive-through format. You can still donate goods, play a couple of games, and order your fair food favorites right from your car. Managers say it's important to find a way to host this event because of the impact it has on the area's economy.
I know some other fairs and even State Fair have already reached out to us to see how we're doing it, what we're doing, so that they can kind of mock their events like it, because our industry as a whole, as events and even fairs, are just struggling right now, and even our concessionaires. So to be able to try and put something on and be successful is a huge thing to our community.
A couple of reminders for you, though, if you choose to go to the fair. Organizers encourage you to bring those 5 canned goods to help stock the Winston-Salem Crisis Control Ministries pantry. Vendors will not accept cash this year, only cards. The United States Department of Labor calculates 837,000 people filed new unemployment claims last week. That's actually down from 870,000 the week before. But this week's report relies on estimates for claims in California as that state deals with a backlog in its system. So the Labor Department will revise these numbers once California completes its review. President Trump's daughter, Ivanka, visited the Queen City this morning to meet with supporters of her dad's re-election bid. Ivanka met with a senior advisor of strategic communications for President Trump's campaign. This will be Ivanka's 4th visit to the Tar Heel State in recent weeks. She made trips to Raleigh and Wilmington in mid-September and accompanied her dad on a stop in Henderson County in August. Well, also in the Tar Heel State, Democratic vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris's husband is coming to the Gate City. Joe Biden's campaign released information that he'll be in Greensboro for an event tomorrow. Then Harris was actually in Raleigh on Monday for a campaign event as we inch closer to Election Day. It is 12:11. Carolina blue skies fill the skylines today, this Thursday afternoon. Let's get more details about your area and your weather on the ones.
Do yourself a favor and spend some time outside if you can fit it in your busy schedule today. If you just can't do it today, you've got another opportunity tomorrow and each day through the weekend to enjoy some really nice conditions. Here's the view from a little earlier out at the Raleigh-Durham Airport. Sunny blue skies pretty much all across the Triangle and Sand Hills, with a few high thin clouds building our way late this afternoon as the kids finish up their schoolwork. A great day to head to the park or out on the Greenway. Our highs in the upper 70s will be with us through about 4 o'clock, and then we stay in the 70s through about sunset. 7 o'clock, 70 degrees, and sunset's actually just a couple minutes before that. Temperatures, of course, are going to drop through the evening. We put Futurecast into motion at 11 p.m. It will be anywhere from the upper 50s to low 60s. Now, there is going to be a cold front passing through the state tonight. That's why late tonight and through early tomorrow morning, for the most part, you just see some clouds. There is a very small chance that while most of us would be sleeping, that there would be a sprinkle of rain. I'm talking just a 20% chance. And that's it for rain chances over the next few days. Now, even though a cold front moves through, our temperatures tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. will be in the 50s, which is pretty similar to this morning. The difference between today and tomorrow, the temperature just doesn't warm up as much during the day. We should see plenty of sunshine. Our high temperatures, though, will be in the upper 60s to near 70 compared to the upper 70s to near 80 today. Dry air moves in behind that front, and that keeps rain chances out of our forecast, not only for Friday, but for all of your weekend plans. Our high temperatures tomorrow through Sunday will be around 69 to 70 degrees. The cooler air that moves in behind the front, well, we'll feel that in the mornings this weekend when lows will dip into the 40s. Now, will we stay dry into next week? I'll be back with the 7-day outlook. We'll answer that question in 10 minutes.
After the break, it's a difficult path to recovery for survivors of sexual and domestic abuse. Find out how North Carolina author is using her experience to help others chart that path forward.
Introducing the new Spectrum News app. At home or on the